I want to talk a little bit about breathing and specifically the use of the diaphragm and the pelvic floor and their importance of really getting that core contraction and that use of those intrinsic core muscles. So these muscles are considered a very important part of your intrinsic core, and I want you to kind of get that visual of how these guys work in synergy together. Okay, so what's interesting about these muscles is they're both horizontal, so they go sideways. So we're going to use these rings to kind of illustrate the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. So this would be the diaphragm, it's right underneath the rib cage, and this one would be the pelvic floor, which is right between your pubic bone and tailbone and everything else that's holding all your insides in. Okay, so they live on top of each other, they're stacked on top of each other, and they work in synergy. Now, obviously, my diaphragm is going to be more wide or larger in circumference than my pelvic floor. My pelvic floor is going to be smaller, but my rings are not. So use your imagination. So here's what happens when we breathe. When we inhale, our lungs expand and they press down so all the oxygen can fill them. So our diaphragm is going to go down. Our pelvic floor is also going to go down. As we exhale, our diaphragm comes up to help push all that air out of the lungs and deflates them, right? So there creates more room for that diaphragm to come up, and then the pelvic floor comes up with them. So here's what goes on. Let's put that together. We inhale, diaphragm and pelvic floor go down. We exhale, diaphragm and pelvic floor go up. Inhale, they go down. Exhale, they go up. Inhale, they go down. Exhale, they go up. Okay, that's great. I'm glad you guys can get that understanding. So when we talk about exhaling and lifting the pelvic floor, that helps you get that idea of when you're exhaling, that's going to give you that contraction to lift the pelvic floor.